Hi guys and welcome tonight. We've got Samantha, a dietitian from Fuel Your Life, to come in to have a chat to you guys about some food and good choices. So I'll hand it over to Sam and she can have a chat to you tonight. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Bryony, and thank you everyone for coming. I'm just here today to have a chat about our food and having a good food relationship and all the great ways that we're able to optimise our nutrition and to be able to perform to our best. I just want to keep this quite casual, so feel free to ask questions throughout. I feel like that might be the best way to sort of answer everyone's questions that they have. For me, I guess healthy relationships with food and nutrition is all about making sure that we're having a wholesome foods and making sure that we're not leaving anything out of our diet. I feel like, I don't know if anyone else here has tried all different types of diets and they've cut things out of their daily intake, whether that be grains, whether that be bread, carbs, sugar, whatever it is. I don't know if anyone else has been like that, but I feel like once we try and cut things out, that's where we tend to set ourselves up to fail. And so tonight, I'm here to talk about the ways that we can optimise our nutrition to be able to get all the benefits out of whatever we want to see. And for me, I've been working with the company Fuel Your Life for the past 6-7 months now. It's flown this year. And I think the biggest thing that I see with my clients is that they fail the basics. And I know this sounds really corny, but it really is about nailing the basics and then going from there. So making sure that we are having our fruits, our veggies. I'll talk a little bit about dairy and calcium as well. But I really want to make sure that everyone is nailing the basics, and then going from there, it is looking at individualising a plan for each person going forward. Let's start off with fruit. Fruit is awesome. Fruit is high in fibre, which is really good for our gut health. It's really good for our bowels. It has all our key vitamins and minerals in there. And if we're eating this in the right amounts, we really don't need to be supplementing with any sorts of tablets. So they say 2 serves of fruit per day. So a serve of fruit can be 2 small pieces of fruit like this. That'll be 1 serve. So like kiwi fruits, plums, mandies, or a medium-sized fruit like your apples, your pears. That is also 1 serve. Or half a cup of berries or tinned fruit is considered 1 serve. The next topic I'd like to speak about is veggies. Veggies are also very similar to fruit, as in they have a lot of fibre, they're good for our guts, our bowels, and they're just a really great option to include in every meal, as they are quite low in kilojoules, and so you can eat pretty much as much as you want, and you're not going to be adding a lot of added kilojoules into your meal. So that's one thing I always like to say to everyone is bulk up the veggie part of your meal as much as you can, because you're not going to be adding any extra energy into the meal. So veggies, a lot of people, I know a lot of my clients I see aren't a big fan of veggies. They always roll their eyes and I'm like, how many veggies have you had today? But you can get really creative with them. So, roasting veggies, sauteing them with a bit of garlic and onion to give them a bit of taste, baking them, adding them into different dishes as much as you can, even having them raw, even serving them up raw is a great option. And I know I love it. I love this time of year because it's so cold outside, you just want to have soup, something warm, and chucking in all the veggies that you can into a big pot, adding in all veggies, some beans and a bit of stock, and bam, there you go. Have a bowl of that every day, and you're probably getting around 2 serves, so another good tip to think about. And I guess some other ways we can incorporate veggies. It doesn't have to be just with lunches and dinners. They don't always have to be, steamed within an inch of their life, like my parents like to do. Having, like we've got down the back, just some veggie sticks with a bit of dip, 1 carrot stick and bang, there's a serve. We could also do like celery with a bit of peanut butter on there as a snack. That's a good option. Another one I want to touch on is carbs. Poor carbs get such a bad rap in the media and on social media and everything. So who tries to avoid carbs? Yeah, one down the back, yeah. I've tried it before too, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I have previously.
Yep. I think at one time or another, most people have tried to avoid it, and that's fine, but it actually is quite impossible to avoid carbs. Carbs are in so many different types of foods that when we say we're having a low carb diet or we're not eating carbs, it's really not true. So carbohydrates are in our fruits and vegetables. They're in our yogurts and milk. They're a source of carbohydrate. They're also in our breads, pastas, rice. As we all assume, that's what carbs are. So we really want to look for the carbohydrates such as fruits and veggies, whole grain breads, wholemeal pasta, and yogurts and milk, because these are the ones that are unprocessed. So they're not refined, they're complex. And so they take our bodies a lot longer to break down. And so with that, it's helping our gut work more. We're getting more benefits from it as well, because they need to break down into lots of different carbohydrate molecules. So the last point I wanted to touch on before I leave is calcium. So calcium is really important. Sorry, flip over. Calcium is very important at all stages of life. We need it for our bones. It's really good for our bone health, but not only is it good for that, but it's also good for our muscles. It's also good for our nerves, and it also helps control our hormones, including insulin, which is what is released into our body after we've had our carbohydrates in our meal. And as we get older, our bodies go through different stages of life and our bodies change. And I guess post-menopause as well, it is a really stressful time for a woman's body. And that is a stage where women unfortunately do lose a lot of bone minerals. And so it is really important that we are getting an adequate amount. So Bryony did warn me before this that some people don't like to drink dairy products or are lactose intolerant, and that's totally fine. This is why I really wanted to touch on it as well, because it doesn't always have to be your calcium products. Your dairy products that are going to give you the most amount of calcium. They're a great source, don't get me wrong, but they're not the only ones that we can have and incorporate into our diet to be able to hit the targets that we need. So there are other ways that you can get calcium into your diet, so you don't need to stress that you need to drink litres and litres of milk per day. And also another way to ensure that your calcium is being absorbed into your body is having it with a source of vitamin D. So I've written down the bottom. Vitamin D sources are fatty fish, milk, egg yolks, and our fortifieds and our cereals as well. Most of our cereals these days and breads are fortified with a bit of extra folate, iron, vitamin D, just to make sure that we are getting all these extra nutrients in the right amounts, because we are starting to leave out different parts of foods from the food groups that we need. And I guess all of this information and nailing the foundations is only going to work if we also move our body every day, do some exercise, and get some really adequate sleep and hydration as well. So incorporating all those things together, and you'll be able to achieve all the goals that you want to achieve with your lifestyle. Have a happy and healthy life. So yeah, thank you for listening to me.